The World Cup catalyst. After centuries of diplomatic stalemate, an unexpected development has transformed the Gibraltar Crossing from geopolitical fantasy to urgent priority. The 2030 FIFA World Cup announcement awarded games to 3 nations and potentially set the deadline for engineering history. "This is the moment we've been waiting for," says Miguel Sanchez, Infrastructure Planning Director for the Spain-Morocco Joint Gibraltar Initiative, as he spreads timeline documents across a conference table in Madrid. The wall behind him displays the moment FIFA president announced the successful tri-country bid to host the 2030 World Cup across Spain, Portugal, and Morocco. For the first time, we have all 3 governments fully aligned around a fixed deadline with genuine political will to see this project through. The FIFA World Cup represents a powerful transformation catalyst for these nations. Throughout history, sports have demonstrated a unique ability to unite countries across political divides. When South Africa hosted the 2010 World Cup, it symbolized the nation's emergence from apartheid. Now, this sporting mega-event creates a similar opportunity for transcontinental cooperation. On screen, we see Sanchez pointing to a critical timeline that maps backward from 2030, highlighting key construction milestones. "We're working with a 7-year window," Sanchez explains, tapping a finger on the first major milestone in 2023. "Initial borings and seismic surveys must begin immediately if we're to have any chance of completion." With political momentum at its peak, the numbers now tell a story of possibility. The latest proposal focuses on a rail tunnel connection between Punta Paloma, on Spain's southern coast, and Malabeta Point, near Tangier, Morocco. This route, selected after extensive geological surveys, represents the shortest crossing distance at approximately 28 kilometers, with 17 kilometers running beneath the seabed itself. The proposal calls for 2 single-track railway tunnels with a diameter of 7.5 meters each, plus a central service tunnel with a diameter of 5 meters, Sanchez explains as computer animations illustrate the 3-tunnel system. The service tunnel serves multiple purposes: maintenance access, emergency evacuation, and a pressure balancing mechanism to handle the extreme depths we'll encounter. This design bears clear resemblance to the Channel Tunnel connecting England and France, but the similarities end quickly. The Channel Tunnel is an engineering marvel, but it faced far more favorable conditions, Sanchez notes. "Our tunnels must be bored through harder rock formations at significantly greater depths, with more complex geological conditions, while accounting for seismic activity." The animation zooms out to show how the tunnels would navigate between fault zones, maintaining depths between 300 and 475 meters below sea level at their deepest points. The visualization highlights specialized tunnel boring machines designed specifically for this project, with reinforced cutting heads capable of grinding through the metamorphic rocks beneath the strait. "We're utilizing lessons from the Channel Tunnel while innovating where necessary," Sanchez continues. "For instance, we've incorporated flexible connection points at strategic intervals that can absorb seismic movement without compromising structural integrity, a feature not needed beneath the English Channel." The economic projections for the crossing are substantial. Research commissioned by the Joint Spanish-Moroccan Committee estimates 12.8 million passengers would use the tunnel annually by 2035, with approximately 60% being tourists and 40% business travelers or commuters. Freight transport would add another significant revenue stream, with projections showing 8 million tons of goods crossing annually within 5 years of operation. These numbers represent a continental connection with fundamentally different economies and complementary trade advantages, Sanchez explains, referencing economic impact studies displayed on screen. The financial picture remains daunting. Current estimates place the project cost at approximately £6 billion, though Sanchez acknowledges this figure could grow. "That's our working estimate based on current material and labor costs, but major infrastructure projects of this nature typically face cost escalations of 20 to 30% over initial estimates. Funding this enormous undertaking requires creative approaches. The current financial model proposes a public-private partnership with approximately 40% coming from government investments split between Spain and Morocco, 30% from European Union infrastructure funds, and the remaining 30% from private investors and development banks. The World Cup has dramatically changed the return on investment calculations for private partners, Sanchez explains, showing a chart of potential investment sources. With guaranteed usage and international attention, we're seeing interest from institutional investors who previously wouldn't consider the project. On screen, we see excerpts from meetings between Spanish Finance Minister Elena Salgado and Moroccan Economy Minister Nadia Feta Alawi, discussing joint funding mechanisms. Both governments have committed to creating a special economic zone spanning both ends of the tunnel, Sanchez notes. This creates tax incentives for businesses establishing operations that utilize the crossing while generating revenue to offset operational costs. The project faces an ambitious timeline. Initial seismic surveys will conclude by early 2024, tunnel boring machines will deploy in late 2025, and actual tunneling work will continue for 4 years before systems installation begins in 2029. It's aggressive but achievable, Sanchez insists, though his expression reveals the weight of the challenge. We're establishing 24-hour work schedules with teams approaching from both coasts simultaneously to maximize progress. Environmental impact assessments must satisfy both European Union standards and Moroccan requirements. The project will employ approximately 15,000 workers directly during peak construction, with specialized tunnel engineers recruited globally. This has become more than infrastructure. It's become a symbol of what's possible when nations set aside differences to focus on mutual benefit, Sanchez says. The World Cup may have been the catalyst, but the vision extends far beyond a sporting event. We're building a permanent connection between continents that will transform economies and cultures for centuries. On screen, we see the proposed station design at Punta Paloma, a sweeping architectural statement where passengers would begin their historic journey beneath the strait. The simulation follows travelers through security checkpoints, then boarding high-speed trains that would complete the crossing in approximately 30 minutes.